Hi, YouTube Voluntarius. I wanted to talk about the subject of rational discourse, and this is something I've been coming up with, which is the irrationality of rational discourse, uh, at least in the context of trying to convince someone else of your position. And I do believe that rational discourse works with your peers, which that is people who already identify themselves as part of your group, who are on the same social status, social structure. But and it works to increase the accuracy of the knowledge these peers have. But attempting to convert someone else doesn't seem to work. And this is what I see happening when people talk to each other, talk to people who have different ideologies, is that it is not actually about the discussion which is occurring. It is about establishing relative social superiority and inferiority, like relative hierarchy to each other. If if more people were converted by rational arguments, by sound rational arguments, I wouldn't be saying this. But what I usually see is that someone who has a rational argument which is against the norm, that is, they are trying to convert other people with rational arguments, they talk to this person, and generally they're trying to change their mind because they are in a socially lower hierarchy, that they hierarchical class, that is, they are not the peer to this person. What I see is just more of that being re-perpetuated. That is, they are openly establishing that they are an inferior. And that seems to be what wins the conversation, too. If you look at the comments and you look at who's watching what and who actually is affected by these arguments, I don't see too many people being converted. What I see is a polarization of people into their pre-existing social camps. That is, people who were already statists, who were already in favor of the state, but they just didn't have the words for it, suddenly have more words for it and have a new method of telling their social inferiors that they are inferior. And anarchists, voluntarists, just come up with better ways of declaring that they are being repressed, that they are in a lower social class. But I don't see this actually having a function of ideological conversion. It looks to me like all this does is reassert the social structure that already exists. And I would actually go even farther and say it doesn't just reassert it, it solidifies it. Because as long as there is some sort of ignorance about the social dynamics, then I would say that a person can influence another person outside of it. And specifically that people are influenced by their actions and the actions of people around them. And that is, if I somehow manage to normalize open carrying a handgun, if I could eventually normalize this, not doing anything political, not doing anything ideological, but doing it through personal ideology, that is, getting people to like me and getting people to trust me and getting them to be all right with me carrying around a handgun and getting other people who are already trustworthy, who are already trusted, getting them to carry around a handgun, and normalizing it through example, not through ideology, but through the existing social structure and through change via action, that you can create a dynamic where something already exists, and then you can rationally explain how things already exist to solidify it. But that's what I've noticed, is that rational arguments are not do not necessarily not necessarily, but usually do not cause social change in themselves. That that they only cause change, which is actually that they acknowledge the change that has already happened afterwards. That's really what it is. What I'm seeing on YouTube in debates, when I talk to people, when I look at politics en masse, people are not converting other people. They are making a declaration about the way things are without even realizing it. So, tell me what you think.